Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Nevram. Today we carry on our series, and if you guys remember what we did in the last episode is that we just loaded our input, which is the setup one. Alright, so what I would like to do here today is that I want to create the part picker, so you can pick a part and we can start to build the spaceship. Alright, so what we're going to be doing here today is I'm going to create a new graph and not a new function, a new graph here, and I'm going to call this let's say part building, right? Just something that we know that it's a part building. So the part picker stuff, so what we're going to do here is that we need to understand how we're going to put those blocks together, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to try to make every part has some kind of a socket, and within the socket we can attach to the main part. It's similar to what we did to the survival one. So we can actually define how those parts can interact, where we can set up those parts, and when we spawn, a part, where do we like to keep that on the game? All right. So to do this, we're gonna go back to the building. I'm gonna create a new folder called blueprints, and then within the blueprint, I'm gonna create a new class, and I am gonna select an actor called BP base building part. All right. Now, the base building part, we are gonna add a mesh, and that's gonna be a cube. All right. Now let me just add here to see in reference with the player, because I don't want to make this too big. To be honest, those parts, they're gonna have, like spaceships, they have different sizes and parts, so it doesn't matter how accurate is the size. The main thing is the socket, right? So that it's going to be fine. All right. So now we are gonna basically create now a socket. So we're gonna go back here to, actually, instead of doing the socket, let's just do the part where we spawn this in front of the player, and then we can move around and stuff. Right, so what we're gonna do here is that there's a couple of ways we can actually do this, and I think the best way we can actually do here is by getting the camera movement. So we can use the camera movement to create a line trace, and then from there we can do all that stuff, right? So what we're gonna do here is, first of all, I think we can, it's called line trace by channel. So we can get the camera, we can get okay, that's fine. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna create here a custom event called API start building. Usually when you start the building, you need to select a part, which we don't have, but we're gonna spawn actor from class. All right. And the class that we want to spawn is this. So we're gonna select that. The spawn location is going to be our player. So we can get our owner, and we can get actor location, and we can plug it here for now. All right. Perfect. Now what I'm gonna do here is that every time I press start here, this tab, I start to build the parts. Let's see. There you go. So it spawns in front of the player. Of course, this is not ideal, and we have to update our parts, but it's kind of working. So the idea now is that I spawn the part, and then using the camera, I can move this object. So the first thing we need to identify is that where would you like to spawn the player? Spawn the part. And there's many different ways you can actually do this, but what I like to do here is that we can do, for example, we can, let's say, get the forward vector, right, of the player. So we get a forward vector, and we can do a divided only on the axis that I want to forward. So for example, I can make well, I think I'm gonna do more. I don't like to do those kind of like super crazy maths because they get very hard to read after, and you have to do a lot of calculations. So what I like to do here is the very simple way, which is I like to add an arrow. All right, and I normally attach this arrow to my main player mesh, so it's always in the same location and it's always in front of the player, as you can see here, right? And then what I can do, I'm gonna call this spawn part point. All right. Now that we have that, what we can do here, we can go back to our interface, and I'm gonna create here a new function called return spawn part default location. And I know this is a very long name, but that makes sense, okay? And now we're gonna call this location, or actually better, transform. And now we're gonna search for transform. Now that we have the transform added, we are gonna go back here to the player, and we have a new a new event here that we can use. So now I'm just gonna get my spawn part point. I'm gonna get road transform, because I want to spawn on the road, not related to the player. And here on the player, here now I gotta just do that. I return player default spawn part. Now I can actually, let me double check. Can I do this as pure? Is that possible? We can't, but that's okay. If we could, we wouldn't need to do this call, but that's okay. That's fine. So we're just gonna plug it here. We get a location, and let's see what happened. All right, so it's spawning in front of the player. So look how cool is this? You can already see that, for example, if I get that and move this to a super far place, press tab, and I can even do something like, for example, hidden in game. I can untick that box, press play, and now I can see the arrow, right? And now you can see where I'm spawning the item, right? So I'm spawning the item right there. Perfect. I'm just gonna leave it the way it was. Now we kind of need to make sure that that part moves. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pause this video, and then in the next one we make it so we can actually move the part. Once again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.